The strategic shield. How smart founders prepare for one bad Tuesday. Most startups don't die because they grow too slowly. They die because something breaks suddenly and they weren't ready. One lawsuit, one compliance flag, one cyber attack, one key employee walking out, one vendor going down at the worst possible time. And within 48 hours, a company that looked unstoppable starts scrambling just to stay alive. This is the part of entrepreneurship nobody glamorizes. Because scaling is not just about growth, it's about surviving impact. Let me start with the real pattern I've seen again and again. A founder crosses $5 million, $10 million, sometimes even $20 million in revenue. Everything feels like it's working. Investors are happy, customers are growing, the team is expanding. And internally, there's this quiet belief. We figured it out. Then comes what I call a bad Tuesday. A random legal notice lands. The bank freezes accounts due to a compliance flag. Cash gets stuck. Payroll gets delayed. The team panics. Senior people start questioning leadership. Within 2 weeks, the company is not thinking about growth anymore. It's thinking about survival. And the founder realizes something painful. I built a fast company, but not a strong one. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Growth does not remove weakness. It multiplies it. That messy process you ignored at 10 customers, it breaks at 1,000. That dependency on one vendor, it becomes a choke point at scale. That undocumented system only one engineer understands, it becomes a single point of failure. At small scale, problems are irritating. At large scale, the same problems become existential. And this is where founders fall into the biggest trap, the invincibility illusion. When things are working, you assume they will continue working. You start believing risk is something that happens to other companies. But risk is not an external event. Risk is already inside your system. Hidden in dependencies, hidden in assumptions, hidden in things you haven't stress tested. So the question is not, will something go wrong? The question is, when something goes wrong, will your company absorb it or collapse? The best founders don't wait to find out. They build what I call a strategic shield, a system designed not just to grow fast, but to survive shocks. Because real scaling is not just speed, it's shock absorption. Let's break this down simply. Every company has what we call single points of failure. These are things that, if they break, the company struggles to function. And they are usually hiding in plain sight. One bank account handling all cash. One payment gateway processing all revenue. One cloud region hosting everything. One founder making all decisions. One key employee holding critical knowledge. One vendor handling a major operation. One compliance gap nobody prioritized. Founders often celebrate these things. This guy is irreplaceable. This vendor is amazing. This system works fine. But here's the reality. Irreplaceable is not a strength. It's a risk. Because if one thing can break your company is fragile. So how do you fix this? You move from reactive survival to proactive design. And that starts with thinking differently. Instead of asking, how do we grow faster? You start asking, where can this break? This is where the first powerful tool comes in, the pre-mortem. Before launching anything important, you sit with your team and ask, imagine 1 year from now, this project has completely failed. What happened? Not hypothetically, seriously. What went wrong? Was it execution? Was it dependency? Was it compliance? Was it hiring? Was it tech failure? Was it customer churn? This exercise does something very important. It forces your team to confront risks before they become expensive. Because most founders are optimistic by default. Pre-mortems balance that optimism with reality. Now, once you identify risks, you need structure. This is where the strategic shield becomes practical. It has 4 layers. Layer 1, critical asset mapping. You list everything your business truly depends on. Servers, databases, cash, vendors, people, customer data, legal contracts, access credentials. Most founders have this in their head. That's not enough. It needs to be visible because you cannot protect what you haven't clearly defined. Layer 2, stress testing. For every critical asset, ask, what if this disappears for 48 hours? And more importantly, what if this disappears permanently? What happens if your bank freezes? What happens if AWS goes down? What happens if your CTO quits tomorrow? What happens if your payment processor suspends you? This is where reality hits. Some risks are annoying, some are survivable, and some will kill the company. Your job is to identify the last category. Layer 3, mitigation playbooks. For every major risk, you create a simple plan. Who acts first? What's the backup? How do we communicate? What's the recovery timeline? Because in a crisis, people don't think clearly, they react. And without a playbook, reaction turns into chaos. Layer 4, audit and drills. This is where most companies fail. They make plans, but they never test them. So everything looks good until it's needed, and then it breaks. So you simulate failure, you test backups, you simulate outages, you check recovery time, you run scenarios where key people are unavailable, because a plan that hasn't been tested is just a document. Now let's bring this into execution. What does a resilient startup actually do differently? First, financial redundancy. Never depend on a single bank. Have at least 3. One for operations, one for payroll, one for reserves. Because sometimes the problem is not lack of money, it's lack of access. And access risk is real. Second, cash as defense. Runway is not just growth fuel, it's survival time. If your revenue drops to 0 tomorrow, how long can you survive without panic? 6 months is a strong position. Less than that, and you're vulnerable. Third, key person risk. If losing one person creates chaos, you don't have a team, you have a dependency. Document processes, build backups, share knowledge. Because speed built on one person does not scale. Fourth, compliance. Most founders ignore compliance until it blocks growth. Enterprise customers don't just buy features, they buy trust. And trust is documented. If you're not ready with compliance when opportunity comes, you lose the deal. Fifth, cyber resilience. Assume you will be attacked. That mindset changes everything. Use layered security, limit access, use MFA, encrypt backups, monitor systems, because one breach can destroy years of trust. Sixth, data backup. Follow a simple rule: 3 copies, 2 environments, 1 offsite. And most importantly, test recovery, because backup without recovery is useless. Seventh, insurance. It feels unnecessary until it saves you. Legal issues, cyber incidents, leadership liability. Insurance doesn't just protect money, it protects decisions. Now here's the interesting part. All of this sounds defensive, but it actually improves offense. When founders know their downside is protected, they take smarter risks. They move faster with confidence. They go after bigger customers, enter tougher markets, make bold decisions. Because they know one hit won't destroy them. And in the market, resilience becomes visible. Customers notice. When things go wrong, do you panic or perform? Do you disappear or communicate clearly? Do you break or recover fast? In many cases, the companies that handle crisis well actually gain trust. They win deals. They attract better customers because reliability is rare. So let me leave you with this. Ask yourself, what can break us tomorrow? Where are we over-dependent? Do we actually know our recovery capability? Have we tested our systems under stress? Because the biggest mistake founders make is assuming they'll figure it out when something goes wrong. But by the time something goes wrong, you're already late. The goal is not to avoid every problem. That's impossible. The goal is to become a company that can take a hit and keep moving. Because in the long run, the winners are not the fastest companies. They are the ones that don't fall apart under pressure. That is real scale. That is real strength. And that is the strategic shield.